Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the Starks Podcast. The crew is here today. Can't wait for you to see this. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. This is you guys, Brian Starks here with the Starks Podcast. And today, the team is here yet again back to talk about our series, Tech and Talk. Welcome back, team.
Hey.
I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled and happy to be here. Before we get started, you guys know how I do. Want to celebrate our Starks crew. Thank you so much for everybody that's here. And thanks for our Starks family that's watching. But I appreciate you all continuously. I think it's huge in corporate America when your leadership doesn't even acknowledge the work that you do, the value that you bring to one another. That's not what I do. And it starts with me and it filters down for everybody else. So I want to say thank you, Asif, for all that you do. We got Asif Hader in the building. We got Shantae Slang in the building. We got Grace. Hey, Grace. And of course, we got Masako.
Already, baby, you know.
All right. Thank you guys. As always, I appreciate you guys' encouragement. I appreciate sometimes the hard knock on the head because sometimes I get to do it too much. Masako always keep me in check, and Shantae gonna keep me in check, that's for sure. And then Grace and the Asif kind of fall in and give me those reminders. So I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing for what you're doing in the community, and I appreciate what you're doing for Starks. I words can't express how much I'm so thankful for our team, and then our team that is watching. You know, we got others that are watching right now. Before we get started and dive in and get you guys going, we want to spend a special shout out to our CISO, Dwayne Veers. He has been sick and ill. We've covered him. Dwayne, we know you watching. We know you can't wait to get back in the studio, but we hate that you missed you. We hate that we missed you here. So we're happy and thankful. Speedy recovery.
Amen.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's dive into it. All right, so we got some topics here, and we just dive into it. Let's just dive into it.
Let's go. You know, I love to swim. I love to swim, baby.
Throw you up in there.
Talk and talk.
All right. So our first order, and I think this should be our first discussion. All right, and if you guys agree, we all in agreement. But this has to do with what's going on in the nation. So for those that don't know, this is what we do here at our Starks Podcast with our Tech and Talk. So we're going to talk techie, then we're going to talk the talk. So our first item is President Trump signed an executive order earlier this week that seeks to strengthen our nation's cybersecurity. Hello. All right. And that's focusing on the critical protection against foreign cyber threats and what's internal here within the states. And this is going to secure technology practices, aka NIST. All right. So the order, it reinforces several best practices like securing software. So our SaaS, software as a service, for those that don't know what that acronym means. Our encryption. Okay. So when you talk about encryption, we're talking about keeping the data hidden. All right. Only those that have access control can only access it, but we encrypt it for the data protection and to make sure that we continue to keep the integrity in check. All right. That's our first topic. Our next topic is about USB port jacking. All right. So if you don't know what that is, that's when you go to the airports or you go anywhere, you use your little USB, you plug it into your Apple device or your Windows device. And right now the airport is struggled. They got hit. So now, no matter where you are in the world, attackers are compromising the US-based capabilities to obtain your information. Then we open it up to a little bit of CMMC discussion, in which we will get into further of that for you guys that don't know and not aware of what CMMC means, but we'll dive into that. And then corporate training. All right. Everything is revolved around training. And this is why Masako always reminds me of how we get the bag through our training. So Masako.
Yeah.
Let's start with you. I'm gonna start with Masako. Yeah, I'm gonna start with Masako.
Yeah.
The executive order, President Trump,
Yes.
issuing to beef up our cybersecurity.
Yes.
Let's dive into that. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on that is, when you move in a space where you know that there's criminal activity taking place, because oftentimes you've taken a part of it, you've been a part of it, and so when you've been a part of scenarios, then you see the vulnerabilities, and you know when you're vulnerable, you know that you're going to be attacked. So if you are in a position where you have witnessed the attacks taking place, you have been in the rooms where the attacks were being planned, if then you are put in position to do something about it, that strengthens the direction at which you need to go. For example, what am I saying? Let's say if we were all in a room and we were discussing an attack and we knew how people were going to attack us, where our vulnerable spots were, where they are, then you're privy to know the best way to combat those attacks. And so I believe that's a smart choice. The position that we are in right now as a country, we need to be able to protect ourselves against all nations. And so that's a smart choice to put to say, hey, I support you. I know that this is something that we need as a nation, and this is how we need to do it. So I'm for it.
Absolutely. All right, Shantae.
All right. So for me, just like with Masako, it's about basically one of the things that we do here at Starks Technology. We're all about protecting your data. We're all about making sure that we keep everyone safe. So I'll give you an example of a friend of mine. This current past week was using his laptop, and it went down, and he had took it in to go get it checked, and it was 6 attacks on his laptop, 6 attacks that happened to his laptop. So his laptop wasn't functioning. So he had to take it in. He had malware bytes, I believe that's what it's called, on there to protect the data, but it still didn't. So it's definitely imperative that we as a nation do things that are going to protect our data, and we're going to protect ourselves from all threats, foreign and domestic. So I think this administration is definitely on the right path, putting cybersecurity on the forefront to make sure that everyone is protected, and protecting your data is critical. There's your social security number. There's so many vulnerabilities that we have out there. And it's definitely one things that we look at Starks Technology Services is about being safe and making sure we're protecting our data at all ends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah. So when I read that article, I'm thinking this current president probably had a lot of people behind the scenes that are advising him, people that are skilled and knowledgeable of what is going on and what is the danger, and have these technical skills as well to bring to the table to advise him. So for me, what I would say is what I see initially is those people behind the scenes, right? Because that's what is causing him to make those decisions. Therefore, I think we all should be alerted as organizations and kind of look into our own data, into our own protection as companies and as organizations, and see what are we doing for us, and what type of people do we have that help us strengthen this security and this wall that we need to build to protect our organization and our people and clientele and so on, right? So I always try to look at it from overall people perspective and the skill sets and the talents that are involved in that. So that's what I see when I read that article initially.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. We're on the right path. Asif.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your thoughts? I know there's a big. Your brain is really about to explode on this one.
right. Let it all out, but let's make sense also, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's sectionalize these things. In a corporate world, we will call it a vulnerability assessment because this is a cybersecurity issues in the corporate world. But when it's in the military, we kind of call it a COOP, COOP, continuity operations planning. Masako is a subject matter expert of business continuity. So COOP and business continuity makes sense, right? You don't want to just say something's going to happen. Well, something's going to happen. You just don't know when. When it happens, what do you do? Because fail to prepare is preparing to fail, right? That's the famous quote.
Yep.
So you got COOP, you got VA, you got these terminologies that we use at home, terminologies that we will probably use in a Starbucks, right? It's all different, but all means the same thing. We want to protect our data. Protect this data from its future state, as in these data over time will mature. This is important to understand that data that we have currently that we're trying to protect, we're protecting them to mature them. So anytime you have any sort of integrity problem with your data, you want to be aware of that, right? So this is kind of, let's bring it home now, right? In my house, I have an attic. If somebody was to stay in that attic for last 30 days and me not knowing it, well, now that home is no longer able to mature. Because in my head, I'm thinking, I don't know what that person did in my attic for last 30 days.
Wow.
Right.
And I'm not talking about 2025 because AI is there. This has happened so many times, and we specifically have terminologies for in the cybersecurity space, which is that time bomb, right? You just don't know when things are going to happen. So when we talk about attack, let's redefine it from our personal understanding of things. Because cyber attack doesn't necessarily mean this major event that everybody's going to see in the newspaper.
Right.
It's not. It doesn't work that way. The way it works is that we have no idea what just happened.
Yeah.
We don't even know if it happened or not.
Yeah.
So Masako and, vulnerability continuity of business and your friend, what happened? There was a disruption in your friend's whatever that he does on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
So if you look at it from the mega scale to a small scale, cyber attack doesn't necessarily mean what you see in the movies. It could happen very sneakily, and it disrupts your ability to say, there's integrity in what it is that I've been collecting to mature.
Wow.
And in artificial intelligence world, best way that you can describe anything to anybody about your AI is by saying, my data is pretty mature. There's a value behind my data.
Yeah.
And if there's no integrity in it, you know it, they might find out.
Yeah.
So just
I
look
like
at that.
I like how you put that. That it's very scary thinking about those type of attacks, but it can happen on a grand level, a major level, or just a personal level that's personal to each one of us. Like what happened with my friend.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you guys. I mean, it's great, and I think you touched bases on it, Masako. It's great that Trump is being proactive versus being reactive, right? So I think we have to take in account, regardless of what your personal beliefs are about how he's running the country, one thing for sure that Trump is doing is he will help IT and cybersecurity. And this is the reason why, this is an open discussion. We want to get you guys plugged in because the things that we're doing, the relationships we're building with other companies, these things are important because Starks is the way to go. Corporate training is something else. I mean, you could even build a PowerPoint or something based on, the executive order, but it all ties back to education. You only know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. So then I love your analogy of someone living in your attic. I use that all the time. I use different analogies, but that really hit home for me. I don't know about you guys.
It was scary.
It's scary.
But-
Very scary. I thought about that. I'm like, oh my God, I have 11-year-old and I'm thinking
Right, now
somebody
you-
in my attic, I'm like, oh my God, like that's definitely scary. So
Yeah.
protecting the data at all times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's to the point back in the attic, listening to Shanta, I'm like, okay, now you got to get your strap, get home, go to the attic. And so essentially go to
check
the
it out.
attic. You have to go in every room. So
Yeah.
you have to go in every room
Reevaluate
to
everything.
reevaluate what is happening in your home
Yeah.
to make sure that you're safe.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'll say one thing. I'm trained in that.
Mhm.
This is what I did in military.
Mhm.
It's a mindset that did not grow just because I went to training for 6 weeks.
Mhm.
I did this job for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I can see the holes in my mindset because my wife will tell me all the time, you forgot something.
Oh.
And here I am thinking like, what did I forget?
Yeah.
Because you still don't know. So you need a team. You need that corporate training because you look to your left and right. Who do you trust? Do you trust yourself or do you trust everybody in your team?
Right.
I say I'd rather trust everybody in my team because my wife
Absolutely.
is looking out for me. My kids are looking out for me. That's how a team should work. And corporate training just does that, right? Build a trust in a team, everybody's ability and everybody's knowledge to tap into that and say, how are we doing, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's a excellent perspective, right? As a team, as a corporate team, under one roof, everyone believes in the mission and the core values over the corporation. Everyone has their own unique skill set that brought them to the table within the corporation, right? It's only the right thing to do is that everyone is trained in the model at which they are unique in. So there are no holes. Everyone covers the gap for one another.
Absolutely.
I also
Right.
like the I also like the analogy that you mentioned as far as the ticking bomb. I feel like things sneak up on you slowly, and they're not always so visible. And when they're not visible to one person, they may be visible to another person, and that's when a team and corporate training comes in place as well. We're not just relying on ourselves, but those small things that we don't see that happen in different departments and different areas is important.
Yep, absolutely. So as we get a chance to pivot from this particular topic, this is, again, one of the benefits that we do at Stars Technology Services. And I think Asako and Masif, or I said that backwards, didn't I? Masako and Asif mentioned it, the trust. And this is what I will say is that as we get ready to go into another topic is the trust is right here. We are a team. We trust one another to get things done. And it's just been amazing that each of you are bringing those individual talents along with myself and others that represent Starks Technology Services. You guys have just done phenomenal. I mean, we got business in California to tend to. Now we have, Masako with the business continuity, and she is like driven on it. Now Grace is chipping in on the contracting piece of it. So, and then Shantae is diving more into the DIR space. We have so many things, and I'm just quarterbacking this thing. I'm just giving the rock to you guys, and y'all are killing it. But that's what we do here at Stars Technology Services. Why? Because our success is built on trust.
Yes.
When the trust is broken, it's just like any other relationship. Whether it's cybersecurity, you can tie relationships to cybersecurity. It's protecting the team, and building that trust, even with our partners to be and current partners now. So our next topic, as we kind of pivot, USB capabilities. I think you called it earlier. What'd you say? USB jacking?
Port jacking.
Port jacking. Port jacking.
I never heard of it like that, but that's interesting.
But that really, when you said port jacking, so to get you guys up to speed, so one of the things that we talked about or mentioned it earlier is there's a video that you could probably go to YouTube, and just this week, airports around the globe, attackers are accessing and compromising those things, and then just sitting back waiting for you to plug in your phones and your devices. Port jacking, Asif. From an ethical hacking standpoint of view, I know you and I, we can go on and on about this, but from an ethical hacking standpoint, what's up?
Well, let's limit down a little bit, right?
Yeah.
When you talk about ethics, it's psychological, right? Our psychology is what's at play. So psychologically speaking, you have an incentive to live your life, but the hackers have an incentive to make money, be it penny, be it dollar, be it 100, be it million. They don't know what they're going to get by USB jacking because your Apple Wallet might have $2 in it. But if they hit that $200 one, okay, that USB jacking was worth it. Yeah. Guess who else does the USB jacking? It happens in the gas station with your credit card readers.
Wow.
Yes.
So if you know that one, now you know about USB jacking, how that happens. It's literally somebody who is desperate enough, specifically in some countries where the law is not that great or the punishment is not equal to what they're doing, it will happen. It will happen in Kansas. It will happen in Europe. It will happen in Asia. It will happen anywhere in the world as long as somebody can make few dollars here and there. So it's really up to you, psychologically speaking, because you know what you will do to save few pennies, to spend few dollars more, to make few dollars more, save few more dollars, right? So psychologically speaking, these are the kind of things you have to think about all the time, that just like you, somebody else on the other side is trying to make that few dollars. So even if you think you don't have that much money, it's not about that. It's about how much can they steal and can they aggregate those amounts and make a living for themselves.
You know, it's interesting listening to you, Asif, because it just makes me think of all of the everybody that we've ever encountered in life that says, "Oh, it'll never happen to me."
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. That's how we have to think about it. It has to happen in that sequence. It has to happen that you have to understand this is your money, this is your data, this is your cybersecurity, not corporate one. Because if you think about a corporate one, you think it's a different entity. Corporate data is your data.
Yes.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
That's very interesting.
Absolutely. And I kind of wanted to make a quick point here. I wanted to say to Brian, to Mr. Starks, you give us as the team so much credit, but it's a tribute to you as our leader. You are a servant leader. You are our coach. You teach, train, develop us, and you make sure that you keep us informed and that you have our back and you are protecting our data with Starks Technology Services. So I just want to say thank you for that. As a team, we're only as strong as our leader. And it's a tribute to your leadership while we're here today.
Yes.
While we're building this foundation and we're building this ecosystem. So I just wanted to pause for a minute and give you credit for what you're doing for the Starks team and for everyone that has joining Starks. They all have the same thing that they say. Brian, as a CEO, is a teacher. He's going to coach, train, and develop you. And he breaks it down to you on your level. That's why I'm here. I wouldn't be here at Starks Technology Services because I'm so non-technical, and I'll admit that. But Brian brought me in, and he made everything relatable to on my level of what I deal with each and every day out in the real world. And he was like, Shantae, you're already doing this. Come in and do project management. Come in and do operations. So I just want to say thank you and tell you that it's your leadership that is helping so many people out there in the world, and we're proud of you.
That's phenomenal.
I appreciate that. You know, it's things look differently. The feel is different. I think we spoke about it. You know, we do podcasts, you know, all the time, or we've done it. And you guys have been gracious enough to invite me along the journey. And I said, no, let's come in. Let's get together. Now the energy, because we have great synergies, all of us, you know, we talk every day. You know, there's not when I don't talk to Asif or Grace, I don't talk to you guys, I know something's wrong.
Something wrong. I ain't heard from him in 5 minutes. I'm like, what's going on? 5 minutes ago.
What's going on? But I really appreciate that, Shantae. And, you know, we've done great work. You know, we're continuously doing work. You've been like my wingman on a lot of things. You know, now I got other wingmen, you know, which now I have a team of wingmen, but I'm only as good as you guys. I'm just here because, you know, I'm here so I don't get fined. I'm just here. But you guys really, I learn each and every day. And one of the things I think that maybe separates just me personally and really just helps Starks along the journey is that I take your feedback, whether it's positive or negative. I receive it so many times. And you know this, you know, we all know this. You go to your leadership and it's like talking to a brick wall. They don't listen. They don't even if they don't even agree with what you're saying or see value, at least listen to me, you know, because everybody wants to be heard. And that's something that I made sure that, you know, from our CISO, from our CIO to our CFO to our compliance officer, I need to hear everybody's feedback because as a leader, how can I be a good leader if I don't listen to my counsel?
Indeed.
If I'm not listening to counsel, this business is going to go out before it even started, you know? But that's not what we do here. And that's not how I do. So I appreciate you guys. And I give you guys flowers all the time because it needs to be heard. You want people to stick around, right?
That's right.
You know, and this is the way. But getting back on point on the
Right.
subject.
But your
it's funny that
also
you
bring up
say
the
that.
3Ds, Brian, because that's
Yeah.
the core values that we stand on. Your
Yeah.
3D principle. You want to tell them about your 3Ds?
So absolutely, yeah. the 3D. So one of the things that we value from in either one of our pillars, anywhere from our training, anywhere from our security standpoint or our auditing standpoint, it doesn't matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're listening to us right now, if you're watching us, it doesn't matter where you are. The only thing that we require here at Stars Technology Services is 3Ds: determination, dedication, and last but not least, discipline. And for my veterans here, thank you guys for serving. I'm gonna always celebrate us veterans, but that's something that I took away in my journey and path. And I'm sure that you guys can agree that discipline piece is the major one, because you can be determined all day long to do something. Oh, it's great to have a great idea. All right. Now, are you going to be dedicated or are you going to be committed to that idea?
That's right.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, you got to be disciplined to block out the outside noise,
That's right.
what you're seeing on social media, friends, family members, because sometimes they could be our worst enemy, So with that being said, it's always important that you guys understand the USB, what you're sticking into things,
Yeah.
especially if you're traveling. Everybody's traveling. You don't even have to be cybersecurity for this. You don't.
Yeah.
This is just everyday living. People are traveling 100 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times a day. Take a moment to understand that. We're trying to help educate you guys, give you some tidbits to help keep you protected. All right. But
This came just on time for me because I'll be traveling tomorrow, so I won't be using that.
Oh,
right.
Otherwise, I probably would have, to be honest with you, because it's so easy. They're everywhere, and you just plug them in, and you don't need the extra equipment. And it may be as a personal travel, but as a as a recruiter and staffing agencies, we send a lot of consultants out there as well. You see a lot of consultants out on the field in the airports using their plugs, and it's good to, again, from corporate training perspective, to let your folks know that this is happening. Yeah. It's not just for individuals.
Yeah, I want to add to that, Grace, because it's so pivotal that when top down, right, the leadership, being the head of a corporation, whether it's a large organization or however you measure yourself, being able to have those types of protocols in place where you have your cybersecurity training within your organization on a regular basis, in order for it to be second nature for when you're traveling. As a consultant, we know that we travel often. If it is not second nature for you to have safe protocols in place, then it's not second nature. So you may feel like it's easier because you don't have a plug to plug your USB. However, when you have that training on a regular basis, then it's second nature for you to maintain safety protocols.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that are in the corporate space, and Asif and I could probably tell you this from a techie standpoint, a lot of the struggles that corporations are having right now is what's called FTP, transferring your files. That can even be from a USB. It can be from the cloud or your servers. All of your data can be transferred. It's attackers like Asif and myself that can go in and we can infiltrate it if we wanted to. I mean, of course, the ethics of what we do, we really abide by the ethics. And that's why one of the things I love about Asif, I think our first interaction that we talked about was about ethical hacking. Yeah. And Asif's like, oh, no, I got to get this guy. I need you to be I need you to talk about it because I can't break things down like you can. But then Asif has a little bit more knowledge in certain areas that I don't. And then I'm able to generate some new ideas and just be able to break that thing down. So then you have that mirror to where we complement each other. But from an ethical standpoint, companies are really doing a disservice. I mean, every company. So even with you guys, I try to help educate you guys right now. If you are working with companies, and we're going to start it, we're going to put ourselves in accountability and we're going to shoot it. We're going to tell it from our standpoint, and then hopefully it filters out to you guys. But when you're talking about USB, it is so easy to get lost in the sauce. Yeah. It's easy. The attackers. So one thing that I've learned as my ethical hacking background, how this works is you plug your device, your phone, USB drives, whatever the case may be, into any port, anywhere, Starbucks, McDonald's, wherever, maybe someone else's machine. Then as an ethical hacker, I've already infected that. I've infected that with whatever flavor or sauce of malware that I want. And then I'm sitting in the back at my house looking at everything that's on your device. Everything. Everything. So as we talk about data protection here at Starks, all of us, we hold ourselves accountable. I'm holding myself accountable as the head of this thing, and I hold this team accountable. Because that is what we do, and that's how we can help your organization. If we're holding ourselves accountable to protect your data, or ourselves accountable to protect our own data, and chances are, it's safe to say that we're going to help protect your data, right?
Indeed, absolutely.
Absolutely. So we definitely want to make sure that we keep this discussion open and available every single time, because now we get ready to pivot again.
Yeah.
We get ready to pivot again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the great pivot.
The pivot. USB blocking. Now we talk about what's called CMMC. All right. And as our compliance officer reminds me daily, we got to help you guys understand it. It stands for Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. Every company in the DoD, whether you're a prime or a subcontractor, you have to get a company certification. If you do not, you lose out on millions, even $1 billion of your contracts. Let's talk about that for a second, because we've been doing this for a while, and I think that's what the value a lot of people are seeing, that Starks, we hold those certifications.
Mm-hmm.
We hold that auditing. We understand CMMC readiness. Let's dive into it from even a basic level, Grace and Shantae. CMMC, you guys haven't been really engulfed in it, but part of our training is to train our entire staff. Corporate training again.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, I leave this door open for you guys. We talk about USB blocking, but in the NIST documentation, NIST 800, NIST SP 800, 171, and 171 Alpha. That's for all you techie folks.
Non-techie.
That documentation is based on a lot, but we're just going to focus on that USB blocking. So the government requires you, every company has to have some type of artifact or some type of documentation for risk and compliance, even penetration testing, which we're able to do, by the way. You need somebody to see if you come out and help you. But let's open this up. So from a non-techie point of view, when you hear CMMC, I'm sure this is probably intimidating for you guys, right?
Very much so. And coming in to work with Starks and hearing CMMC, I'm like, it's one of those techie terminology. So, I'm like, what does that mean? And when he broke it down to me and just really explained that all of these contractors it is required by the government for you to have this CMMC training and certification, I thought, wow, why isn't it talked about more? Because that's something not only we should be looking at in a government space, but in corporations. Mm-hmm. This is training you on cybersecurity and ensuring that our team could actually come out and train your corporate team, so you guys are knowledgeable of what's going on out there, and that we can give you the same tools that these government contract companies with the DoD have. Yeah. I thought that was amazing. That's something that we are able to offer with Starks. And we can teach and train you, because I had never heard of it before. Yeah, this is like coming into Starks. I found out so much stuff about like what's going on out there, and that companies need to know more about this. So I thought that was amazing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I'm very similar with you. Even though I worked in the tech space for a long time, as a account manager and recruiter, I never really worked with cybersecurity before. So for me, it was new as well. And I think it's kind of very similar to what Asif said earlier when he spoke of how it would really affect our wallets. So I think from end users' perspective, or any person that is really not into the tech space like that, what they want to initially know is, how does that affect me? Where are my vulnerabilities? To kind of personalize to them, whether it's within their corporate world or outside of the corporate world, what kind of implications does that have on me? Yeah. So once they have that emotional attachment to it, or once they have the understanding and, an alert as to like how that affects them, I think that's when you see really the value of having the CMMC, but also the continuous education for that, even if you have that, right?
Yeah.
Like there's continuous education, continuous certifications that go with that. And you want to be up to date because there are so many threads that constantly evolve daily, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's what I would say from like end user perspective.
Can I just put this into terminologies? Maybe you guys will enjoy it. He talked about FTP, and I'll add WIFM, WIFM, and COMO, COMO. Those three topics, right? SFTP, which is Secured File Transfer Protocol, instead of just regular File Transfer Protocol. File Transfer Protocol is what CMMC is all about. So if you can research FTP and all of a sudden you want to understand CMMC, that's a core message in CMMC is that, are you protecting those FTPs happening? Mm-hmm. Now, what's in it for me? WIFM, right? WIFM. So in WIFM, you have a responsibility to protect the data that comes from, I'm just going to use an analogy between me and Masako. If I send a text message to Masako, I'm hoping that Masako will not release that information to anybody, especially some spy who's trying to look over Masako's shoulder and say, what did Asif say? What's in it for me, right? So it's in for everybody. Now, let's talk about the COMO piece of it, because you mentioned it. Cost of missed opportunity. Because you're not CMMC certified, well, first of all, you're not certified because you're not educated about it. If you're educated about it, you will have the FOMO, fear of missing out. You can't bid on contracts. You can't win contracts. And by the time you win contracts, by the time you lose that contract, you cannot go to the prime contractor and say, can I be part of your team? You can't. Because the prime is CMMC certified, you're not. Or at least you're ready or on the POAM mode, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
If you don't even have POAM, which is, we can talk more about it, but just those three terminologies, keep that in mind. What's in it for me and cost of missed opportunity because of SFTP.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It's deep.
Yeah.
I love the way how you broke that down.
Absolutely.
I have to. This is what I
Break
do.
it down. Like our viewers are like, okay, that makes sense.
Right. And when I think about CMMC, I think about the job security. So if you're wondering where you are in your space right now, what type of career opportunities you have, CMMC, there's definitely an opportunity to be trained at Starks Technology Services for your CMMC certifications, because DoD organizations, you have to have the CMMC certifications. So whether you need an organization to go in to audit those organizations that work with the DoD, to check off to say, yes, you're okay to work with the DoD, or you're looking for a position and you don't know where you fit, get certified in CMMC so you could be an organization to go to align with the organizations within the DoD to make sure that they're validated to work.
Absolutely. And just to break all this conversation down from a layman's terms, if you're watching us right now, one of the things that we're talking about, well, what is CMMC? How does it benefit our users, our end-based? Well, simple. You come through Stars Technology Services, learn the tricks and the trades. We've got over 40 years experience. We're going to help you get a individual certification here through our partnership with CompTIA. We can help provide you the knowledge, training, the go-how. And again, we tie everything back to the 3Ds, and you're going to hear me preach about it day in and day out. You don't have to be techie. We have non-techie people here at Starks Technology Services. Yeah. We've got business continuity where they're somewhat in the middle of it. And then you've got folks like myself and Asif and Dwayne and Mike Crosby. We are the techie people. We've been in the engineering space. We've been hacking. So it all goes back to the 3Ds. Come take a look at Starks Technology Services. The only thing we need is the 3Ds. Be determined, be dedicated, and most importantly, be disciplined. So now we get to our grand finale. Grand finale, corporate training. Another reason why Starks Technology Services kind of notice what we're doing here. It's all about all the tying in together.
Yeah.
All right. But that's one of the, and I think each of us can speak to that. From a corporate standpoint, businesses are hurting. If they're not hurting, and you sit here and tell me that, oh, my company's not hurting, show me your risk assessments. Show me your security posture. Where are you? Have you had a pen test done? When's the last time you had a security assessment? Then on top of that, has your company been compromised? So if people are telling you that they don't really have, we're good, that lets us know you're not good.
Right.
If you're good, you're not good. Right.
Yeah.
So
The best response is like, we need to see you. Can we get a representative from Starks Technology Services in our office to do an assessment?
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what should be
And
said.
for those that are watching, and I'll say this and then I'll leave it to everyone else. But one of the things you may ask yourself, well, you guys are preaching CMMC. You're preaching these certifications. Oh, yes, we have it. We have our certifications business, and we have a plethora of them.
Yeah.
We have our IT, our cybersecurity certifications. Oh, yes, we have a plethora of them.
We wrote those certifications.
Oh, and then now we wrote
Not
the
only-
certifications. Absolutely.
If you took
Yeah.
the test,
Created 'em.
one of us wrote it.
one of us did write it. So not only that, but just to get you guys a little sneak preview of what some of the things that I've been working on first starts behind the scenes, we are about 70% CMMC level 2 certified.
Mm.
I
That's a
just
big
wanted to,
That's a big deal.
the team didn't know that, but I wanted to get that announcement out there. There's still some gaps that we need to fill, but what company doesn't have gaps?
That's right.
But this is why we have these open discussions. So we're practicing the things that we're preaching. We're not out here blowing smoke. We're not in competition with other, potential partners, because Masako says it all the time. We're one team. It's not a me thing. It's not a Starks thing. It's a us thing. So we're protecting our data, and we're going to continue to get better and better. That's where the trust factor comes in. That's where our trust with our partners comes in. And then not only that, we work hard, but we play even harder.
That's right. And if I can just say one thing, it's that partners. We're partners with CompTIA.
Yes.
We're not going to be a client and somebody else relationship. If you come to Starks, you're going to be a partner.
Absolutely.
Because this is not a one-time engagement where I show you some flour and you buy it and you go home. That's it. This is not like that. This is a
No.
partnership.
Yeah.
We have to develop this trust. And this is what we're doing through this podcast, is developing this trust.
Yes.
If you trust us, you're going to be our partner.
Yeah.
Just like you want to be a part of a family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the most important thing, that whole family perspective, the family dynamic. You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go with the team. And as a team, we are family. And we care about each individual partner, each individual that we encounter, because we believe in a culture of collaboration. And 3 of us on this panel are veterans. So we took an oath. And so those individuals that we align with, they are in that same mindset of taking oaths to make sure that we hold one another at the highest standard. We are the standard, right?
Absolutely.
And so we, I'm sure you could feel the energy in the room. It's an extremely high vibrational level. It's how we move.
When I move, y'all move.
I like that. Just like that. Starks. At Starks Technology Services.
You're bringing us with you. So,
Right.
as a leader, you're bringing us with you. And I just wonder also, how are you bringing, in your corporation, your people with you? How are they following your standards and your safety standards? Are you exposing to them as well? Are you teaching them? And again, it goes back to corporate training. You train us, you're bringing us along with you, right? On all these certifications, terminology, situations that go on that we may not be aware of. But how are you protecting your people as well? And I think that's kind of where the assessment come in as well, right?
Absolutely.
And how is your relationship with the vendors? I may trust you, but I may trust her as a vendor. And where is the gap there? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is that good for the corporation, or is it just a trust between me and her? Those are from human perspective, I guess, things to look at as well.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. So as we get ready to,
No, you're good.
as we get ready to wrap up here, everyone just, Asif, tell the people how they can reach out to you.
Starks Technology Services. That's it. Go to our website, look us up, and reach out and let us know what questions you have, what comments you have, and we would love to hear from you.
All right, Shantae.
You can reach out to me at Starks Technology Services. That's slang@starkstechnologyservices.net if you'd like to reach out to me there, or support@starkstechnologyservices.com.
All right, Grace, how can the people reach out to you?
You can reach me through Starks as well, and also on LinkedIn at gracet.com.
All right.
.com.
That's your last name?
Just dot.
Right. And to reach out to me, you simply just have to pray and praise. And then make yourself available to starkstechnologyservices.com. And my email is mmai@starkstechnologyservices.net.
Awesome. Well, again, as I always do, thank you guys so much. Another Tech and Talk down. We'll continue to do this, but thank you guys. You guys gave great feedback for the people. We need to do this. We're going to continue to build out this podcast for educational, because that's what we do, here at Starks Technology. But if you're watching us today, you're still not understanding the things that we talked about. Don't worry. We're going to do it again, and we're going to keep doing it. But maybe you're interested. Maybe you want to take that next journey, whether you're a techie person and you want to enhance your career. Maybe you're someone working at Walmart and you're just tired. You're tired. You want to change. Or maybe you're in between. Doesn't matter where your journey in life is. Contact us. You can reach me at Brian Starks. My email address is support@starkstechnologyservices.com. Or you can reach out to us at our 1-800 number, 1-800-316-4606. Either myself or the staff will get back to you. I'm an open door. If I can't get to you, I'll respond to you. That people know.
Yeah.
But if I can't directly work with you, then we have a great staff that will be able to reach you. Well, guys, thanks again. Thank you all for that's watching. Join us in another couple of weeks. We're going to have a very special treat and talk about entrepreneurs in tech. Until then, I'm Brian Starks with Starks Technology Services. We'll see you next time. Peace and blessings, everybody.